Okay, in this hand, we've got another decision of what to do when facing a squeeze, but with a different hand value. So we open 3x under the gun with ace 10 10 6 double suited. Before I show you the rest of the hand, I'm going to talk a little bit about the open. I think the open's fine five-handed. I might fold it six-handed. In fact, like I think that folding is just fine six-handed when you're under the gun. In really tough games, you might have to fold it from middle position, but I still think that I'd open it in almost any game from middle position. But under the gun five-handed at most tables, I think that it's fine. Yurik, what do you think? Is this a pretty standard open for you?
Yeah, I guess the only exceptions are when you have really aggressive players behind you that have position on you and that are prone to 3-bet you, because we don't really love facing a 3-bet with our hand.
Mm-hmm.
It plays okay, but it can also get us into a lot of trouble, basically, since we have the ace without kickers. So on all the dry ace high boards, we can't really stand facing barrels.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in those cases I would prefer to just open fold it from UTG and middle position. But whenever the table is kind of passive, soft, I would definitely open it from any position.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Cutoff calls behind us, and he's a regular, solid regular. Small blind three bets. He's an aggressive regular, three betting 15%. And now the action's back to us. So, Yurik, how is this hand different from the other ones that we've covered when we're facing a squeeze? And what do you think the best option is here?
Yeah, the first big difference is that 15% may be his overall three-betting percentage, but we don't know to that point what's his squeezing range is,
Mm-hmm.
because it's definitely not the same, and oftentimes not even similar,
Mm-hmm.
just because players do recognize that they can 3-bet a single open much lighter and much wider, basically, than when there's an open race and at least one flat caller.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be I'm pretty sure that he is squeezing a much tighter range than those 15%. I guess it's more around 5 to 7% range if
Right.
he's aggressive, but a lot of players even have lower than 5% squeezing ranges.
Mm-hmm.
So we should figure out how our hand does against such a tight range.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just said a couple of minutes ago, our hand doesn't really like facing a high card, like the strongest ranges, and facing 3-bets with high card heavy ranges, because he will have a lot of aces, he will have a lot of ace king king, a lot of ace king queen type of hands. Just a lot of better aces that are dominating our hand.
Mm-hmm.
And there exists even the possibility, since the cutoff is a regular, that he may have been trapping there with mediocre aces or an ace king king type of hand, and
Mm-hmm.
once we call the squeeze, he may decide to back raise.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to the previous hand, where I said that I advocate folding as the best option, I think this is a similar case where we only invested 3 big blinds, and we avoid ourselves a lot of trouble if we just muck it at that point and don't invest any more money.
Yeah, I mean, overall, some people might say, well, you should call because you have implied odds with, like, your nut flush draw and your set value. I think that since this hand, although it's double suited, it's still, like, pretty polarized in terms of it doesn't flop that strong on that many flops. So more often than not, like, you're going to call and then give up post flop when you miss. You can call in on ace high boards, like, be in pretty bad shape, like you said, against an ace and side cards. It's pretty awkward when we flop, like, a flush draw with our hearts, or actually even like a flush with our hearts. So it's just like really, it's just I just don't understand, like, where the profit would come from a call.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we could argue, obviously, if we switch seats with the cutoff and we flatted an MP open, that now it becomes a much clearer call because we're closing the action. We get much better odds of 3-1. So that would change the dynamic dramatically. But since we are now the ones facing basically being first to act, we should definitely get out. And we didn't even touch on that. We have poor absolute and relative position since we have to react on the flop to the pre-flop razors c-bet and are sandwiched basically with one player behind to act.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, for sure. Um,
And
and
just
go
yeah.
ahead, sorry.
Yeah, like we find out in this hand, if we replay the action, we see that what a very likely scenario.
Oh man.
I mean, yeah, we would have folded on the flop, but we see the hands that we are up against, like two times double suited kings, and
Right.
really, I'm kind of surprised here by the cutoff. He
Yeah.
must have been really passive because it's like a perfect hand in the first place to three bet in position, but then after just flatting to
Just
definitely
back raise, yeah.
just back raise it.
I mean, that's amazing. I don't know why he played it like that.
He must be super passive. Some players just are afraid of aces, and they never get any in pre-flop with anything else but aces.
Yeah.
They're good to know, I guess, and good that we found out that folding there was definitely the right place.
Yeah. I mean, in short, again, like I want to repeat it because I think it's very important. Is if someone's three betting a lot, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're squeezing a lot. And you do see like when people squeeze out of the small blind, especially facing like an under the gun open and a late position call, it's typically a lot stronger than if they're squeezing in position.
Yeah, definitely. Or if they squeeze like against a button open and a small blind call.
Definitely. All right. Let's move on to the next hand.
Yep.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Casino Crime here. Now, if you like this video and you want more, then go ahead and click the subscribe button below right now. And if you want to join me for more of my 6 max success secrets and free video tutorials, just click the link to the right. See you inside the trainings. Good luck.